What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm your host, Reckless Rex Ruger.
And I'm your other host, Frankie the Flamethrower.
And, of course, the Alexis Arguello puppet, who we never...
If Rex will ever shut up, the guy's already here.
I know. He is here. We'll get him in here. We'll get the Silk in here. We got a couple topics to go over with him. Man, what happened to him?
Where'd he go? There he goes.
There he is. There he comes. I knew he'd come through. So, it's good to have you on there, man. I'm always interested to see which eye patch you're going to choose. This one's nice.
This one's a little slower. It's a turtle.
Yeah, a little bit slower. It's great to have you back on here, Michael OLAJIDE. First of all, man, I love what you do on your Facebook page because you not only will break down things and explain things to people, you do it very lengthy and in depth. You know what I mean? Like anytime you got an opinion on there that you want to espout, you really get on there and you really dig in, man. You really seem to have a thinker's perspective on the sport.
Thanks. Yeah, I really do think about it because it is more than just a primitive urge to boxing is more than just a primitive urge to slug a guy in the head. There's much more to it when you get to the it's much more complex when you take it to the fact that you're trained for 3 months specifically to fight an individual. So you're adapting to his style. That's the way it should be. And so you look at it with more than just me punch him in head and that's it. There's much more to it because the guy's coming at you with all sorts of different, it seems like it's just 2 fists, but you have to control like that your instincts, basically.
Now, there's a lot of topical stuff going on right now, and obviously you keep such a keen eye on the sport that, you must have opinions on some of this stuff. One of the big things that seemed to be bubbling all over the internet today was this possible showdown with Crawford and Canelo. Is this a good idea for Crawford to jump all the way up there and make this fight? It almost seems like it's like a lose-lose for Canelo because he either gets credit and he gets the shit beat out of him if he loses, as far as his reputation, or he beat up a guy much smaller than him if he wins.
Yeah, it's really it's an interesting perspective you're looking at, but I do absolutely believe that it is a great fight. It's a great fight. And I do think that Crawford is absolutely capable of winning it. And in fact, I would favor him to win in this fight. And I'll tell you why. Now, Canelo is stronger if strength is really an advantage in boxing. And it isn't necessarily. I would say if I were, an MMA or a grappler, wrestling, stuff like this, strength really makes a difference. Both Crawford and Canelo are strikers. And they're strikers that they score with only their fists. It's not about legs. It's not about locks. It's not about, a ground game or anything like that. It's basically who hits who the most and who has a effective defense, so they don't have to take too many shots. And I see Crawford with a number of things. He's a quicker release. He is much stronger than people give credit for. He was a competitive wrestler in high school, and I think thereafter as well. So I know that wrestlers have insane body strength. I mean, I've sort of like messed around with a couple of Olympian guys, and it's just off the spectrum in terms of strength. But he has that. Crawford has that kind of strength.
And so he's somebody that you would favor him in that fight.
I absolutely do favor him in that fight.
Yeah, I kind of do too, and I'm not sure why, but I just can't ever see that guy losing a fight.
Yeah, exactly. He's very serious. He's like a welterweight Marvin Hagler. You know what I mean? Like he's so about his business. He's very purposeful. He can throw either hand. He can adapt to either style. He can orthodox southpaw. He's more than just a Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? He's just like excellence in whatever he does. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He's in incredible condition. His vision is great. And that's one of the most important things you have to have in boxing. You have to have fight vision, not night vision, fight vision. And that's what he has that's going to help him. And he puts his hands where they need to be. He doesn't just punch to punch. He punches with a purpose. And very few fighters get that today.
Nothing wasted with him.
Well, something else that's hot topic, and I know you just had a post about it with the cut or whatever, but I'm curious to know, besides the cut, the fight's supposed to be rescheduled for May.
Yeah.
And like, how do you see that fight turning out?
I also in that fight, I favored Usyk going into that fight.
Like the smaller guy, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? He has his dexterity is incredible. He has the ability to throw many different types of punches. He has foot movement. His fight acumen, his fight intelligence is really high. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably like about an 8 or 9. I know he had difficulties in his last fight, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen in this fight either. Tyson Fury is, you know, when people talk about advantages, they talk about his size advantage. I don't believe, I'm not necessarily, especially with boxing, as we said, I'm consistent. I don't think just because the guy's bigger, he's going to be better. But yeah. I do think if Fury decides to fight the smothering fight, like an octopus fight, like he used to fight with like the Klitschko, where he lays his weight on top of the guy, very heavy, that's going to be a problem for Usyk, because he's going to have to fight his way out of that, or somehow not get grabbed. You know what I mean? And that's
it almost seemed like it almost seemed like a lot of what lied behind your post also was the fact that a lot of people were dumping on like Fury using this as a way to get out of the fight, which is preposterous.
It is, absolutely. I mean, everyone's got a theory now, and with, you know, with what we have today, everyone can be heard, and that's great. But sometimes some things get passed around. It's just not right. I mean, he legitimately got cut in training. It happens to everybody. Fighters suffer incredible injury going into fights, and some of them are covered up, and you go into the fight, you take it anyway. You sign the contract. There's no turning back. Fury is fortunate. He's in a position where, you know, he got cut. It was legitimate, and he postponed it. It happened with George Foreman and Ali in Zaire, and it happened with Sugar Ray Leonard too, I believe. I'm not quite sure when. It's happened with a few fighters. I know with Oscar De La Hoya it's happened, and with Floyd Mayweather it's happened. If you're the A side, you can cancel that fight at any time, and they'll just put it on later on.
Yeah. You also rode to the rescue, and I was happy about this. You put a nice long post up there defending all the people who want to write Lomachenko off.
Oh yeah. No, Lomachenko is absolutely talented, and he's got great talent. He's got great vision. He's got great, all those things he has. He has the talent, the ability. I believe he still has the fire. I don't think he's tired, but he needs to have trainers, or a trainer that is going to make him do the things that's going to win. Like, let your hands go more. Don't think so much. And you know, all the fancy, like, high-tech Lomachenko stuff, sometimes you got to just put it down and be basic. And that's I think what he missed in his last fight versus, I forget the kid's name, the last fight that he lost.
Haney,
yeah, Darren Haney.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was just like, all you had to do is be basic with him. You know what I mean? Basic, get your jab in, follow with the left, go to the body, and that was an easy win for you. But now
that fight with Haney, how did you see that fight going? Because we just, interestingly enough, before we talked to you, we just had former cruiserweight champion Stevie Cunningham on here, and he said when he went back and watched it with the sound off, he couldn't find more than 3 rounds to give Lomachenko.
You know what I did? I looked at it and I just thought it was Lomachenko's fight early, and Haney was doing some good things, like going to his body with one shots, you know, trying to pot shot him, stuff like that. I gave it to I think Canelo. Sorry, Canelo. I know he hurt him early as well, and he hurt Haney often early. And but Haney was able to come back with some body shots, and he sort of stuck it to him, but they don't count as much as headshots do. Like with the headshots to us are like, wow, body shots, most of us have never been hit in the body, so we don't really count it. And I don't think the judges do either. Yeah. But as the fight went on, I think he took his foot off the gas, and fighters have done that before. De La Hoya did that when he fought Trinidad. He took his foot off the gas and sort of like waltzed the last 2-3 rounds, and they ended up giving it to him. I think just because they didn't like De La Hoya's the way in which he fought the fight.
I'm glad you're saying this, because we were just had a conversation about that fight, not even 15 minutes probably before we had you on here.
It was earlier today.
Earlier today, yeah.
It was like that was like the 4:30 when we talked to
I'm just glad that somebody else is echoing the fact, though, that he did say the last 2 or 3 rounds he took the gas off. I did feel like De La Hoya put a lot of those early rounds in the bank, though.
Yeah. No, he did put a lot in the bank, and you still could rightfully give it to De La Hoya. I know that if I was scoring the fight, I would have. But the judges, they sometimes you don't know what they're seeing, and oftentimes, even though they're at ringside, there's things that you just don't see because you don't get all 4 angles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know something interesting that we were talking about Lomachenko that I see online a lot, because we were talking about the online antics.
Yes.
And people always post the picture of Lomachenko like sort of upset and teary-eyed after the fight with Haney.
Yeah.
And they always like joke about it, but I just wonder from like the fighter perspective, like, you put so much into like fighting in your life, and there's so much like on the line, and I feel like a lot of people don't take that into account just because they've never put a fucking 1% of any energy into anything, so they don't even know.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right there. Absolutely. I just sometimes, part of what happens is when they pay to see your fight, they get a chance to judge and say whatever they want. That's part of the ticket. You know what I mean?
Everybody's an armchair commentator. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's an armchair, and everyone's got an opinion, and they pay their money. So, you know what I mean? They get their right to, They get their right to say what they want. It's unfortunate, but because the same people that say things that are, disparaging or negative, you're right. They absolutely haven't done it before, and they certainly haven't done it at that level. But you don't expect them to be empathetic. Empathy is such a rare drug. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah,
you're not getting, especially if you're shooting for something. And a lot of people are haters, and they just have like a negative stance on things. And there are a lot of people that are very positive, beautiful, welcoming. They'll embrace you for your effort, whether you win or lose. And some people that just won't. And that's just the beauty of our world, I guess.
But I think, too, speaking to your point, though, Benji's, too, I also think, though, that people can't fathom that understanding of, like, how much of yourself mentally you put into these, these wars.
I mean, it's your life, because up to that point, Lomachenko's fought how many amateur fights and done how many
over 300.
Round himself how many times?
Over 300. And I'll tell you what, for all the fights that he fought, he sparred many more rounds in preparing for those.
Oh, sure.
Those sparring matches were not walks in the park either. Those are hard ass, you know what I mean? Sparring, because he has to get sharp. So he has to have sharp guys come in to work with him. And so for him to get that good, he had to take a lot of concussions and a lot of cuts and a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain. And a lot of people just don't understand that. Like what fighters do go through, they call it, the loneliest sport. And it certainly is one of them. And whenever you're judged immediately, it's not like an investment. It's like you're immediately judged on your performance. You're only as good as your last fight.
Yeah.
And that's, you know what I mean? And that's all there is to it. And if you don't look good, people write you off. Right now, Lomachenko's value isn't as high as it was. Absolutely. But I believe he's going to get some fights back, and he'll put himself in that position again. But as long as he just don't try and do too much, kid, because you got it. Like, you're faster than anybody. Just be direct and beat them down with your ability.
Sometimes less is more.
No, it's actually crazy you say that, though, because you hit the nail right on the head. It's like you lose a fight or two, even no matter what age you are. You could be 20 and have 2 losses on your resume and have 20 wins, 20 and 2 at 18, 19. But if you're playing in the NBA, guys, and you terrible your first season, people will be like, "Oh, let's see what he does in 3 years."
Yeah,
they don't do that in boxing.
You
don't get it. Let's see what he does in 3 years.
Yeah, no, that's what that highlight is going to be played of you losing for the rest of your life. That's all there is to it.
Now, for people that don't know, Silk, you're up in Canada. Another guy who just had a fight, who Canada has now claimed as their own, is Artur Beterbiev.
Oh yeah,
and so now we get to see the real showdown that we all want to see with Beterbiev and Bivol. How do you think that one shakes out?
That's a beautiful fight.
That's the fight we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, I think that's the best fight in boxing right now.
Yeah,
I really do. That's an amazing fight.
That's a fight.
I don't even know where to go there. I mean, Beterbiev has, we all talk about his power and his, his focus, and he's relentless, but he's also very intelligent in the ring, and so you put that together with power, and you have somebody really significant that you can't overlook him at all for anything. I mean, he shows his resilience as well. He has been dropped, so that's kind of good. That works for Bivol in his way. You know what I mean? Bivol has great hands. He's very intelligent in the ring. He's a good boxer. He has quick release. He has great footwork. They both have had amazing amateur backgrounds.
Yeah, very similar.
Yeah, very similar. And I almost think they fought each other. Oh no! I think Beterbiev has fought and beat
Usyk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Which is, and I'm glad. Speaking to your earlier point that you just made, I'm glad you said that, because we a couple weeks ago we had Iceman John Scully on here, and he's obviously Beterbiev's co-trainer. And you're right about one thing: because of the 100% knockout rate, people sometimes think Beterbiev is just this puncher, but he really has amazing skills.
Yeah, he really is a very skillful fighter. Now, I'm not sure about his defensive ability when it comes to somebody who's complex, like who has the fistic abilities of this kid Bivol, because he can certainly throw any punch from any angle at any time, and he throws it at the speeds that he wants. He does not hit with the same authority, but maybe he doesn't have to. There's so many things, like there's so many like intricacies going into this fight that I really love. That makes it an incredible fight. One, they're both in insane shape. They're going to come into this fight in insane condition. I do believe they're both still at their best. They talk about Beterbiev's age. I don't think that's playing a part in this fight at all. I think that they're both extremely hungry. They're both extremely accurate. They don't waste their punches, but they do throw a lot of punches. Everything with intent. They have defensive abilities and defensive skills. They do what's necessary. They don't do too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do what they need to do, not too much and never too little. So I fail to see how this couldn't be an incredible fight, and it's certainly worth more than any other fight I can see on the horizon right now. Like in terms of fan entertainment, this is the greatest fight that could be had right now.
Yeah. And it does look like boxing now. Now that Showtime has pulled out, is going to end up apparently on Amazon Prime.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, and apparently you have to have a subscription for Amazon Prime. Benji's, am I correct? Is that how Amazon Prime works? You got to have a monthly subscription, but then they're also still going to make some of these fights pay-per-views.
Oh yeah.
And the first one that they've rolled out, I believe, is in March. And it's and a lot of people are giving the card a lot of shit because they don't want to pay for they're rolling out their first card, and the main event is Tim Tszyu against Keith Thurman. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Making us pay our hard-earned lunch money for this.
Yeah. The fight doesn't make me want to dig into my wallet. That's for sure. You know what I mean? I mean, Thurman hasn't fought in a while. And the last time I know, he was getting, but he's an exciting fighter. He'll put himself on the line to win. Tim Tszyu is like, he's the kid. He's coming up now. You know what I mean? They want to make something of him. He's Kostya Tszyu's son, right?
Yeah, I think the undercard fight. I think the co-main is more exciting. That's going to be Isaac Pitbull Cruz against Rolly.
Oh yes, that I want to see.
That's a little more entertaining. Yeah,
I love this kid Pitbull. I love the way he fights. Like when he's fought Davis, I was like, wow, this kid's for real. Because Davis is no joke. I mean, Davis is the real goods, and what that kid did against him was incredible. Rolly, I
knew you were going to say Rolly and just shake your head.
I'm not sure that's the road he wants to go down, but
yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, worse things can happen. Could he get a one-punch knockout upset, something like that? Like maybe the kid Isaac is going to walk into something. There's the potential.
Hey, I do every video I watch of Rolly Romero, like working out or doing the mitts or anything, he's always working off his back foot. So that's probably what he's hoping for.
Yeah.
Move in, and he's gonna work off his back foot and hit him with something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is with Cruz, he's difficult to hit clean. He keeps that chin down. He's got these shoulders. He's like a boulder. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
very
so
aggressive.
yeah. And so, like, I think if anything, if you want to work on anything because it's going to be hard to find this kid's chin without putting yourself out there. And he has quick release, and he's in incredible shape. So it's not like you're going to take him down the road into the deep end and get him tired. But I think the best chance of winning is, if I were Rolly, I'd try to bounce something off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Right up here at the top of the cranium.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing with that. If your hands aren't wrapped properly and you don't have really hard knuckles, you can hurt your hands and they'll swell up in a minute. But there's a lot of times if you bounce something off the temple or you hit them up around here at the top of the head and you lose your equilibrium, you lose your balance.
Yeah.
And you're conscious still, because it's not like a brain shot where you get here, but there's something about it. It sort of like does something to the nerves. It makes them haywire. And I think he may be able to hurt him there, but that's a long shot. This kid looks like he's got a very thick skull, and
yeah, I would guess so. Any guy that they're calling Pitbull is probably a hard guy to knock out.
Yeah, for that reason alone.
and so right now there's so many young guys in boxing right now. We've talked about a bunch of them, Tank and Devin Haney, and every young buck who's on social media right now, wants to spew that they're the best or they're the face of boxing. For you right now, who is it? Who is the face of boxing?
Boy,
is it still Canelo? A lot of people still on here telling us it's still Canelo.
Yeah, I don't think it's Canelo. I think Canelo's had a great run, and I think he's still obviously a recognizable brand, absolutely, and not one to be taken lightly. He's talented. He gets the job done. But I think, for my money, the 2 to 3 best fighters, and I'm not sure which way I go with it. Hank Davis, absolutely, and Crawford, absolutely, and I'm thinking Beterbiev. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really like the way they do it. Like the three of them come 100%, always in shape, always give you their heart, always give you the clean performance that you want, and they undoubtedly win. There's no dispute. There's no confusion as to who won the fight by the time it's over.
Now, one guy you've got off that list is a guy that a lot of people throw the name around. I'm wondering why you left him out of the mix. It is Devin Haney.
Yeah, I'm not quite convinced. I mean, obviously he's talented and he's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter, but I have to see him. I mean, I'd like to see him do a little bit more first. I think maybe he's going to go ahead and step up with Lopez. Is that in the?
You know what? That's the problem with the social media. Every other day we're hearing about a different combination of some type of a fight that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you blink and it's another combination.
Somebody else. So I know that he beat. That he's won some obviously big fights, and Lomachenko is his biggest one, and he's obviously winning that was great, but I just haven't seen him. You can't give your heart to him yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do get what you're saying. I get what he's saying. Yeah.
And so you can acknowledge him for his talent, and I absolutely acknowledge him for his talent, his ability to beat people, and he's won. He's undefeated. He's great. Same with this kid Stevenson. You know what I mean? He's really nice too, and he has all that ability. But
he retired.
He said.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You're not buying it, huh?
Well, you know what? I'm not buying it. But here's what you should do. He wants to. I mean, he's talking about. He wants the big fights and the big money fights, and he's not getting them. And this, that, and the other. It's like, you know what? Here's what you do. If you want your big money fight, don't do anything but take one guy from 1 to 10, contender 1 to contender 10, and you take a year and you say every month I'm going to beat one of these guys.
Yeah.
You don't just say you give you guys aren't paying me. I'm not fighting anymore. It's not worth it to me. No, that's not what you do. You go ahead, you line up the 10 guys, the top contenders, the 1 to 10, and you take one on each month. And by the end of the year, you say, listen, I whooped all these guys. Where's my super fight? You promote yourself.
Yeah.
You don't just say, give up the ghost and say, oh man, no, you guys aren't being fair. I deserve more money than that. You get what you're worth in boxing. What you're worth, you will get.
And I like that you're hearkening back, because we talked about this with another guest recently. You're hearkening back to a time like when guys had a long run at a weight and they cleaned out their division.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Marvin Hagler and anybody that was in like the when you had, just it was the WBA, WBC. There were many fighters that didn't even get a title shot.
Right.
And if not for the WBA, WBC, IBF, you would never, those three divisions, you would absolutely easily finish your career without getting a title shot.
Yeah.
And the fact that you get a title shot, then and you win, then you get a chance to unify all the rest of that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's so kind of nefarious these days the way they do it. It's crazy.
Now, I can't remember, Benji's, if he told us in the first time that we had him on, but how did a guy like you get into boxing, though? You don't strike me as a kid that was getting in a lot of fights as a child.
Yeah, never. Only with my sister. And yeah, I have arguments with my sister and get beat up by my older brother. But yeah, I think I took to boxing because I really had nothing else to do. And I knew my father was a trainer, a boxing trainer. I knew he was a boxer. And then I knew he was also at a gym at the time. So I was kind of like, I played football. I loved football. It was my first love, my first passion. And I played that for a while. At that stage when I was 15, I was like, I don't know, 95 pounds. And there was just no way I could play football at that age. You know what I mean? At 16, 17 years of age, 95 pounds. It's like, I couldn't even be a field goal kicker at that point. Punter, no, nothing. Just like, no, tackle football. So I, my sister told me my dad had a gym, and I was like, oh, and at that point, obviously I was living with my mom, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go down and see about it like this. She goes, yeah, it should be a fight. And I always followed boxing. Like even when I would sneak out of church on Sundays, and he used to have the fights on Sunday afternoons, mornings and afternoons.
Yeah.
And I would go into the alley, and there was people with in their basement, and they had glass windows, obviously, in their basement. And I'd look down, and I'd be able to watch the fight over their shoulder, kind of. And I know it sounds kind of creepy.
Still, come on, you're supposed to be in church too.
I know that. Well, the thing is, we had church 3 times. We had early morning, afternoon, evening. So I missed the afternoon service.
That's a tough schedule. Yeah, my parents dragged me to a church where it seemed like we were there all day too. Yeah.
Plus, I went to Christian private school, so I really did like the it was overkill for me.
Yeah.
But so Sundays I'd go and I'd watch the fights, and I'd see like Matthew Saad Muhammad and Yaki Lopez and Danny Little Red Lopez and Castillo and all these great fighters. And I was like, wow, it was so intriguing to me. And I knew my father boxed. So then when I had the opportunity to do it, I just absorbed it. I started late, but I never fought outside of the ring. I've never had a street fight in my life, close to, but never pulled the trigger. But I love fighting. I love boxing. I love the concept of it. I love the idea of it, and I love the responsibility of it.
And I love the fact that you also see it as a great, obviously it incorporates into your business. You see it as a great way to paramount health and fitness.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's anything better for the human body than a boxing workout done intelligently. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it agrees with the way we just ergonomically, the way we move, the way our bodies, you know what I mean? The hand-brain-eye coordination combination is just, you can't beat it. And boxers, they use their legs too. Like, I can show you some moves that will blow your mind in terms of getting your legs in condition. But the one most important thing about boxing, it challenges the mind and the body simultaneously. It's upper body cardio. So you get your cardiovascular in there, which is extremely important. But also with the dexterity with the hands, you challenge your brain. There's the recall. There's the perfection of it. The way you always come back and you get, there's a myriad, there's a million and one combinations you could throw that'll always challenge you in terms of power, speed, reflexes, timing. All these things are just, I think it makes it the ultimate workout for the human body. And
that's it. Send me a workout regimen. I'm getting off the couch.
Hey, listen, I'm going to send you guys something. I'm actually doing an online.
Please help us. We throw ourselves on your mercy, Silk. Please.
Listen,
you guys,
I love it so much.
If
it was something I really could get into, I really would do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I promise you, I'm going to send it your way. It's It's a boxing workout that you're going to be able to customize for yourself, and it's online. And I put it together, and I think I'm so happy with it. I'm just, you know what I mean? We're just creating.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Yeah,
and it's real boxing. I'm telling you, it's none of that fake stuff. Like any fighter would do this, and they'd be like, "Yeah, absolutely, this is the real thing." You know what I mean? This is boxing fitness.
And of course, you actually have like a place there in Canada that you work out of, right? For people who might be up in that area, you know, is there a physical place where they can come to you?
Well, you know what? I was born in England, raised in Canada, but I've been in New York. I lived in New York since 1985. Madison Square Garden brought me here, so I still live. Like right now, I'm in the middle. I live in Manhattan.
Okay.
And so yeah, I had a gym called Aerospace High Performance Center. We had one in the Meatpacking District. We opened up there in 2004, which kicked off the whole Boxing for Fitness thing. Then we opened up. We have another one on 27th Street, and then we opened one up in LA in West Hollywood, which was like, that was just a mind blower. It was so beautiful. Had great people there. COVID hit, killed our gym. You know what I mean? Because it's very much like it's leave the machines behind. It's all human interaction, and you can't interact with humans. And so, you know, we let the gym, you know, obviously it had to go. It was like 3-4 years later. But, you know, I got this program up online, and it's going to blow people's minds how, like, the effect it's going to have on your body and mind. It's a beautiful thing.
And so where can people who want to find out about this stuff, like where should they go look for it?
It's going to be, the website is michaelsilkolajide.com.
Okay.
And that's going to be where you're going to be able to find it, but it's probably not going to be for another month or two. But I'm going to test it out, and that's why I'm going to give it to you guys. And I'd love your opinions on this.
Absolutely.
Before then, it'll be like in a few weeks.
So when I'm exhausted from this workout and I have to call into work for a week, I'll call you and blame you.
No, listen, I'm really looking for something because I'm a janitor. I worked a night shift. And a lot of my time is downtime, man. Like I'll just be alone, chilling. And I can work on something like this.
No, you're gonna love it then. Yeah, I mean, all you're gonna need, like, jump rope is optional. There's a band.
I could access one.
Yeah, you love jump rope.
I know how to do it.
All right, let's go then. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not a pro, but I can hop this high.
Yeah. That's all you need to do.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. That's what I'm talking about. I can't jump a basketball anthem, but I could jump a rope.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Well, hey, I mean, at least there's still hope for guys like us, man. You know what I mean? Like Silk is still out there throwing a lifeline to guys like us. Thank God.
You know what? There's like, even people that haven't been physical their whole life, they can learn boxing. You know what I mean? And there's something to it. There's something that's so gratifying about, like, just basic accomplishments. Like every step you take. Like look, it's not like you have, you know, you have issues, like you don't have any physical issues that are going to hold you back from trying. And if people have issues, more or less like it's their knees, it's their legs and stuff like that. Well, this is like a cardiovascular workout and a muscle endurance workout without like that impact, that heavy impact of running. It doesn't have the inconvenience. It's very efficient. It's very effective. It's to the point. It's challenging. And you know what? You can take what you need. It's not like you have to do this hour-long workout. It's one of these workouts where you can piece it together. So you can say, okay, I'll do 5 minutes of that, 3 minutes of that, 6 minutes of that. Like I'll do legs for this much. I'll do core for that much. And I'll do upper body for that much. And maybe I'll put in like 10 minutes of cardio at the end, or I'll put in 3 minutes of cardio at the end, or I have no cardio at all. It just gives you the option, but it's always challenging. It's always taking you to the next level. And that's what I really love about it. Like round 1 is way different from round 15. And so it's like, you know, I'm old school. I go to the 15-round fighters. That was my territory.
I remember those days. I know.
So that's how you regimented the workout, is like by rounds.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I'm gonna eat it up.
So it's like there's 15 rounds of jump rope, 15 rounds of leg work. So each one is a segment.
Oh my God!
There's 15 rounds of like core work, 15 rounds of leg work, 15 rounds of arm work, 15 rounds of boxing, 15 rounds of jump rope, and you can take rounds 1, 2, 3 of jump rope and mix it with 4, 5, 6 of boxing, and there's so much you can do with it. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, that is great.
Yeah, you just work at your own pace at all those different itineraries.
Modifying things. Yeah.
It's got the modifications, and like I said, it agrees with your body. So you're not doing anything counterintuitive. You're not hyperextending at the joints. I'm not asking you to jump higher than you need to jump, or what's comfortable for you. I'm not asking you to, it doesn't compromise your back. It's all like in the movements, natural movements of your body. That's what a boxer does.
Yeah, and even like you might be at level 10 for round 15 for everything else, and round 2 for jump rope.
Exactly.
That's all you could do.
100%. Yeah. So, and the name of the program is actually 100% silk. So,
I like that.
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, me and Benji's are big names. Me and Benji's are big on the names. Every boxer we get on here, we always want to start with how and why they got their nickname. So I love that you stuck your nickname on there.
Yeah, I had to.
That's important.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I had a couple of people that were talking to me that were in marketing. They were like, "You use Aerobox all the time. Why don't you use your name? Like, that people are going to align with that much easier."
Recognition. Yeah,
recognition. Then I remember I'd won a fight at the Garden by knockout, and in Canada, in Toronto, in the paper, it said 100% silk on the back, and I was like, "Oh, that was kind of cool."
Yeah,
so they put the tags of your shirts and stuff like 100% silk. I was like,
"Yeah, I'm copping that."
Right. Well, 1986. I never forgot.
Yeah. Listen, Silk, as always, man, we appreciate you coming on here and doing this. It's always great to catch up and chop it up with you, man.
Hey, listen, I love talking to you guys. You guys are the soul of sports, man. I love you.
Thank you.
You guys are great.
That means a lot coming from you. Yeah, that means a lot. As always, keep in touch. We'll do it again soon.
I look forward to it. And hit me up in a week or two, right? And in a couple of weeks, or I'll hit you up and I'll get you that program.
Okay, sounds good. We appreciate you, champ.
I'm waiting patiently for it.
Yeah, we need it. You're saving our lives over here, champ. Getting us off the couch.
Yeah, the greatest.
Yeah, we appreciate it, champ. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Take
Talk
care.
to you soon.
Ciao.
Wow. Later. There he goes. That's our guy, man. Silk. Yeah. Sounds like he's tailor-made exercise routine. Even a couple of schlubs like us could get through.
I mean, it's worth the try.
No, it is. I mean, it is really. I mean, as I said to Stevie Cunningham earlier, man, I've created my own weight division, slob.
Yeah, we need to work our way out of that.
But I am the champ.
Need to work our way out of that.
I've got championship gold in the slob division.
we got to get back from the slob division.
Yeah, I at least want to be like junior slob.
Right.
Light slob.
Right.
Yeah. As always, that's the great Michael Silk OLAJIDE. You might know him as the guy that just went 27-5 with 19 knockouts. Obviously, as you can see by the patch, unfortunate circumstances took him out as far as the eye, but he's still giving back, man, in the form of boxing as fitness, still whipping people's asses into shape, including hopefully ours.
Right.
Because we can certainly use it, man.
Yeah, I really am gonna fuck with that. He sends it to me. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna fuck with it.
I'm thinking of fucking around with a Stevie Cunningham comic book.
Yeah,
I might not look bad back there. Especially when he's making boxes into superheroes. He should make us into superheroes. Maybe there might be some commission work in store for Mr. Cunningham.
No, I was actually going to say that. I was going to joke about that and say, if you ever need color commentators on there, you could draw us in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Sitting on a couch, right, with a broadcast table in front of us. I mean, yeah, that would be all right. But anyway, as always, man, thanks to our buddy Michael Silk OLAJIDE, just friend of the show, great guy. Always love hearing his insights on everything that's going on and that's percolating in the boxing world. We always appreciate him coming on here and chopping it up with us, man. Like and follow us on Facebook. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. That's most important. That should be the #1 priority in anybody's life right now. Tapping into this show.
And again, ladies and gentlemen, from Baby Busey to Gary Busey, I can go 15 seconds with anything.
Yes, and I would like to say, I, Reckless Rex Ruger, a.k.a. the Wrecker, a.k.a. Spiggity Sparky B, a.k.a. the Bearded Lover, a.k.a. the Clown Puncher. Huh?
You didn't need to go there tonight.
Yeah, maybe.
Signing off.
A.k.a. White Tyson.
You're not a part of the Fifth Ward posse.
Yes, I am. Reggie Sweet Johnson and Bushwick Bill both made me honorary members. And Willie D signed off on it. You got to check into a hood when you get there. I know that. I know how it works. I checked in with the posse. Fifth Ward, man. I love you guys out there, man. Shout out to the Fifth Ward always, man. Spawned legends like Reggie Sweet Johnson, George Foreman, Scarface, Willie D. Come on. Yeah. I don't even, those four names, those four faces ought to be on a Mount Rushmore somewhere. The Mount Rushmore of Fifth Ward. Give it up for them, man.
Rest in peace, Bushwick.
Yeah, always rest in peace, Bushwick, man. Scarface, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, says so on the back of his book. Somebody said that about him. And Willie D just, come on.
Yeah, I implore you to go watch the interview of Willie D pressing Scarface.
Yeah, he did press him. He felt a certain way, man. He felt a certain way about that Grammy snub, if you will. I don't know. People can certainly go out there and research, though. Here's our little hip-hop nugget for the day. There was recently Scarface was approached to go do the Grammys and do Mind Playing Tricks on Me. And Willie D was not notified of this event.
Right.
And it upset him greatly. And I think with just cause.
Good way to do your buddy, Scar.
Come on. Let's not judge too hastily. But, yeah, I think Willie did feel that way, though. So,
I would.
But the one thing I like, though, is that you can go on YouTube and you can see how two men that have a long history,
deal with shit.
Chop shit up and deal with it and put it out on the table, and they're candid and honest with each other and can still walk away.
I respect it.
Yeah, you got to respect it, man. Grown men handling grown men business, man. So that's tonight's episode. Thank you again to our buddy Michael Silk OLAJIDE. And remember, kids, if you want to be a champion, then you got to roll with the champs.